Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello. It's nice to see you all. Welcome back, guys. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Nice to see you all. It's nice to see everyone. What is going on? How's everyone doing, guys? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hope you guys doing well. We are back at it again with Limbus company. Yep. And it is patch day. Well, it's not patch day. It's patch notes today. So we're going to be talking about patch notes and the new IDs. Yes. He struck down the run. That's unfortunate to hear. Kira is very, very tempting. Yes, no. Definitely be pulling for Kira. And we have to try. We got to try at least. Hopeful we get it, but you know. Announcer RNG and all that, you know how to do. Bring back Monero? No. No, I will not. There's no need to. Because today we're gonna be you know, reading. Doing a lot of reading. Actually, we're gonna do a lot of reading. We're gonna do a fucking lot of reading, especially on Rodion. Jesus Christ. Rodion has a lot of reading, dude. Holy smokes. But that's for later. As per usual, chat, we always save the IDs for the end, because if you want to get my joining the rig, we do MD. I'm not sure. I want to take my time with going over everything. That includes the event patch notes, the standard patch notes, then both the identities. So we might not. If we do, maybe we'll do something short. If we don't, or if we do, we might do something short. Or if I'm in the mood for it, we'll do it. Or if not, not. Does it beat sword sharpened with tears? I don't think anything beats sword sharpened with tears when it comes to syncing. But I mean, hey, there's a lot of. I mean, she has a lot. There's quite a lot to talk about when it comes to them. But obviously that. But obviously, guys, we save talking about the IDs last. Because if you want to see what the IDs do, well, I already have a video on about them, but we always go over it again anyway, just in case you haven't seen it yet, or you want to, you know, obviously the first time is first impressions, and then the second time is more like, okay, I got a better understanding of everything. Did I notice they changed the sin affinities from the trailer? I did not. No, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't remember what we said that was from the trailer. Did Mersault ever have pride in the trailer? He didn't have pride, right? He had gloom, right? No, did he have pride? He never had pride in the trailer, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't remember what he had in the trailer. I typically don't remember the teaser sin affinities until, for like 2 IDs, until like after. Will it add new statuses? I mean, I hope so. Was it Wrath? Is it? Oh yeah, we did talk about it, Wrath, right? Sloth to envy. Maybe we were just wrong. That is also fair, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I swear I do remember yellow, and I do remember the red. Like, you can't mistake Wrath as pride. There's no way. Shit, I didn't even think about that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't even think about it. I did not even think about it. Baby! But yeah, so let me get the patch notes open, so we can get that ready to talk about the patch notes. Obviously, the first thing we'll be talking about... No, we haven't started yet. We're just talking about patch notes. Well, we haven't started talking yet, but the first thing we're going to be talking about Yeah, let me sure everything's good. Yep, there we go. First thing we'll be talking about, obviously, is going to be the event patch notes. Now, event patch notes are super easy, super simple. If you've been through one event, you've been through all of them. There's nothing really particularly different, but there are a few things to point out. Or if you are new, then do you think they have a reuse mechanic? Well, Rodion actually does have a reuse mechanic, funnily enough. So it's on RS1 too. But we'll talk about that. So we have a few things to go through today, guys. We are going to be going through the twinning threads. We'll be going through the scheduled update notice. We'll be going over Mersalt first, because in the video I went over Rodion first, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a lot more easier to explain if we go over Mersalt first and then Rodion, because Jesus Christ, Rodion is full of greed. Her fat ass can't handle all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fucking 6 unique status, or 7 total unique status effects. But if you separate from Mersalt, that's a fucking 5 unique status effects. Her greed is generational levels of greed. So yeah, her fatty. She doesn't even have. I don't even think she has gluttony. No, she has no gluttony. What are those status effects? Yeah, we'll go over them. And oh, don't worry. I've been reading the comments on the video, and apparently I've pissed off every single French person or French speaker. Look, I'm sorry. I don't know how to speak French. I tried. I'm genuinely trying to, like, speak the words as they are. I don't know French. I have nothing to go off. So I'm trying to go off this in my head. You can see in the video of me, I'm genuinely trying to figure out how to pronounce these in French. And apparently I fucked every single one of them up, which is not even, I'm not even surprised. I genuinely am trying. Like I don't have the time to, I can't just alt tab after every word and translate. Because I do that, it takes like 20 minutes to do that. I'm sorry. Look, I'm really sorry. I genuinely am trying. I don't know. I'm not a speaker. I don't know. I'm trying. So, I'm not going to pronounce any of the French words. I instead, to make up to all the French people or speakers, I will no longer be pronouncing any French words. I will instead be using custom-made words. Strictly talking about anything that is French. So anything that's French, I'll be using my own word to replace it. Just so I don't piss off any more French people or French-speaking people. So we'll get to that when we get there. So yeah, I'm just not even gonna attempt the words. I'm just gonna completely alter them into something completely different. It would be funny. I mean, true. So, just add V. Yeah, I will get to that. But we are gonna start, chat. We are gonna, we're gonna start talking about it. We'll get to the IDs last, so don't you worry. But first, we're going to get talking about the patch notes, chat, so we're going to start. So we're going to be starting with the... Let's start right now. With the new content, Chapter 9.5, the Twinning Thread. This is obviously going to be the event and the interval that comes out. So, yippee! Let's have a look, Stromy. If you've been through one event, you've been through all of them. If you're new, this is how it works. She's the Sugano. Huh? Events last for 2 weeks. Simple. You need to obviously be after Chapter 9. This is an interval. When the event starts, the event page will open. During the event period, you can earn Severed Thread by clearing the Twinning Thread event stages and mirror dungeons. You can redeem various rewards from the reward exchange by spending the Severed Thread that you have collected. Let's talk about the gameplay. So, here we have the gameplay. Obviously, very simple. This is an intervalo. Did I see the trailer? Yes. So, TLDR, every time you complete new stages for the first time, you get extra rewards. If you complete the final stage of the Intervalo, you get extra rewards. We do get a new mirror dungeon. Looks very pretty. During the event period, the Twinning Thread theme pack will have a fixed appearance on the 5th floor of the mirror dungeon, normal and hard. So it is floor 5 exclusive. Guys, we're getting too many floor 5 exclusives, chat. We have too many floor 5 exclusive. We need some early on ones. We need some pre-floor 3 packs. You know what I'm saying? I do like all the floor 5. We have like 30 floor 5. I can't, agreed. I can't pick all of them. We need some floor 2s and some floor 1s. We know it's possible. I mean, they have Dredge of the Manor on floor 1. They have, it's possible. We need some floor 1s, man. Maybe eventually they'll do some floor 1 or 2 exclusives. Like, genuinely, it would be nice. Like, a lot of the Walpurgis packs are 3 and 4, which is very good. But, oh my goodness. We need some 1 and 2s, baby. We need some 1 and 2s. Anyway, main story. Managers who have not met the event can obtain Thread as a first-time reward from the main story. What about 6 exclusive? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Textbook is a floor 3 exclusive. That is... Actually, is it exclusive? It's 3 and floor. 3 and floor. 3 and 4. I'm pretty sure aren't all the apprentices floor 5? I know the unique abnormalities are 3 and 4. So, interesting. I'm tired of it. Well, luckily, with the recent changes they made, it's actually quite, you know, you can choose to do more on 2. Like, you can do C on 2 now. It's more better. You can do 3 and floor? No, 3 and floor. Anyway, as I was saying, look, this is very simple. The most important thing is we get a new theme pack. Here, gift 1 is 3 and 4. Yeah. So we get a new theme pack, which is very W. Here's the currency. We get the, wow, the 7th thread. Damn, someone really should have fixed this thread. Here we get the bonus units. Okay, so the way bonus units work is simple. Wow, bonus unit of the previous banner is crazy, by the way. But anyway, the way bonus units are simple. If you have a bonus unit or ego in your loadout, okay, you don't have to use them. They just have to be in your loadout. You get the bonus. The bonus is up to 120%. Right? It caps at 120%. So both the new IDs, which is the event reward and the banner, are 80. And the 20% bonuses are Nose Father Hong Lu, Ring Faust, Ring Yisong, and Ring Otis. Is this some kind of Death Stranding? Yeah, something like that. So if you want to max this out, you need at least, funnily enough, you actually do quite a lot to bonus this out. This is actually quite hard. Instead of load, I wish if you had them. You do have them. They just have to be like, what do you call it, in your team. You don't have to have them on the field. So you can have them as a backup unit and it's fine. Yeah, 80%. This one's quite tight because you have to have 80%. But I mean, the ring, like, I'm sure everyone usually has the ring. I mean, these are standard banners, right? So 20, 20, it's 40. You have 80 there, 120. Very simple. If not, it's not the most important. As long as you have like around 100. Right. Event rewards. Here we get the juicy rewards. Here we have Mersault at 1,000, and then we have all the others. So we have pools, we have crates, we have the unique Intervalo banner. That looks very nice. This is usual. The shop lasts for 4 weeks. Yeah, if you get the event plus all the standard. It's quite funny how, yeah, I always recommend just support identitying one of the, like, the 40%. So, like, Rodion or Mersault, so you can get that. It's funny, the reward exchange is open for like 4 weeks, dude, and the freaking event's like 2 weeks. And that's it. Like, this is simple. Like, events are always the same. There's nothing special with the event. TLDR, event opens, it lasts for 2 weeks. It stays for a week after the event. It stays for a while after the event. Is Mersault free? Yeah, Mersault is free, guys. So Mersault is free. Rodion and the Kira announcer are on the banner. If you want Rodion, you have to pull or wait a week. Yeah, the event is 2 weeks. Event is always 2 weeks. As in, like, to play the event, yeah. So the event is 2 weeks, and then the exchange is a week. So it's 1 more week after. So it's 3 weeks. I thought it was 4 weeks. Ring slop season. Ring, the Ring faction feeling 1% of high show, 1% of high show haters, like, flame. Anyway, this is very easy. TLDR, I'll give you a TLDR of how the event works. The event lasts for 2 weeks. The reward is open for 3 weeks. Every new stage that you complete, or mirror dungeon, or event pack you do, will reward you with the unique currency. You could spend the unique currency in the shop to get Mersault and a bunch of free goodies. Rodion is on the banner, Kira is on the banner, and Mersault is a free unit. That is pretty much the TLDR. And now we move on to the real main patch notes. Now this one is a little chunky. It's not too long. It's you know, it's a couple, what is this, like 5 pages? So it's pretty average. You know, guys, never let anyone tell you that 5 pages is anything, you know, less than average, okay? So never let anyone tell you that 5 pages is less than average. So starting off, this is the patch that comes with the Inavalo. Sorry, this is what we're gonna get with the Inavalo. We have the April 16th scheduled update notice. They all high show? Maybe, that would be kind of funny. Mainly, it's mainly that I can't touch facades because I don't have enough shards for them, but I will if I do like a funny bit. Can you feel Sanguine Desire? I am pretty sure you can, yeah. Alright, so we have the 16th scheduled update notice. What is in this? We have new content, which is obviously going to be Rodion on the banner. Don Quixote. We have Don Quixote as the target, if you want her. We have Kira, who will be an extractable announcer. How very cute. So, one new extractive announcer will be featured with the following extractions, which will be Kira. She is a featured extraction, specifically on these banners. Please note that announcers do not affect the 3-star rates. It is only the 2-star and 1-star rates. So less 2 stars, less 1 stars, more Kira. Okay, I think everyone will love Kira. Once you get the announcer, you can't extract it. You will have to Yisang exchange it though, so. But do we get WAF? Great question. We got new content, which is the twinning threads. Super duper easy. We got new packages, usual. Ah, here we go. We got new Dante's notes, which you'll get from clearing the twinning threads. I feel like we don't see that often. So here we have a new Dante note for actually completing the Univala. Yes, Otis has Wrath. Bring Otis has Wrath on RS2. The greed of the ring. Yeah, we're probably going to get Falvists, I assume, and maybe more stuff on Ariashiki and Ryoshu. But normally we don't get these Dante notes right after Inavalo, so this is pretty interesting. Speaking of interesting, we have a massive Mirror Dungeon Adversity and Ego Gift balance change. Now, if you didn't know already, starting Season 7, aka Kano 9, every Inavalo and Bokgak will come with major Mirror Dungeon changes, buffs, nerfs, all that stuff. So we're going to be looking at all this juicy stuff. Number 1, certain adversities in the Mirror Dungeon Extreme will be adjusted. When they mean by adjusted, it means they'll be buffed. Before, turn start, all enemies heal 20 SP. Yippee! After, turn start, all enemies heal 20 SP, except enemies with minus coins, who lose 15. That made the adversity harder. So they made the adversity harder. Yes, chat, there is a few eager gifts in here, but we'll get there. There's a few things we have to talk about first before we get there. But yeah, so this is specifically a nerf to line 3, by the way. This is a this is a buff, sorry. This is a buff to line 3. So line 3 had both minus coin and positive coins, but yeah. So no cheesing them with positive SP anymore. I think also I feel like some other pack had it all. No, I think it was just line 3. I don't think Bloodfiends had it. Maybe some Bloodfiends had it? I don't remember. Here we have one new Ego Gift, which is added to the Invala pack. And we have 7 pre-existing Ego Gifts will have their effects partially adjusted. Please note that this new Ego Gift is not among those added for the Twinning pack. Oh, wait, what? Hold on. This new Ego Gift is not among the Ego Gifts added for the Twinning Thread pack and can be obtained from a few select pre-existing theme packs. Okay, so there's a new... I like that they're adding these new Ego Gifts that are theme pack exclusive. So the last one we had was Vain Pride, right? Which was the You Wish to Be Strong. So that was a unique tier 4. There's the Sinking Eye, which is on the Sinking pack. So maybe this is another Sin Ego? I think that's what it might be. It might be a Sin Ego, chat. I think they're adding one... They might be adding one unique Ego. Like, Ego for every Sin pack. Yeah, I bet you it's probably a Lust Sin pack or a Wrath Sin pack. It could be a new tier 4. Well, they're not... Actually, are they all tier 4? Yeah, they are. They are all tier 4. Oh my god, it could be a new tier 4. No idea. Anyway, here are the adjustments to the pre-existing Ego Gifts. The following changelog is based on the base enhancement tier of the Ego Gift. So this is all base, right? And yes, chat. The first thing that you see here is a white Gossipium buff. Before GDA 6, they buffed white Gossipium. Let's read. Before turn start, if there are staggered enemies, unstagger them. Inflict 8 plus stagger level bleed potency. Offense level down. So it gives them offense down. Now, it is the exact same thing, except it's give offense level down this turn and next turn. Holy shit. Do you know how good that is? Dude, that's really good. That's not bad. Just word changing? No. Before it only affected the turn they unstaggered on. Now it affects the turn next. So you get 2 turns of Gossipium. Which is really good. It was already goated. If you were a bleed user, it was already goated. But now you get 2 turns of Gossipium effect, which is very good, especially because there are, certain fights that you only get 1 stagger threshold. Which is pretty decent. Is it gonna are you gonna start taking it on non-bleed teams? No. No, it doesn't unstagger in the same turn. It's the exact same way it works. So it will unstagger them whenever, they're on their turn, it'll unstagger them. And you get double debuffs, pretty much. So all it is, chat, is instead of unstaggering them and only having them affected for 1 turn, when they unstagger, it is now 2 turns. That's pretty much it. It's better now. That's it. I think it's a lot better now. Would you take it in extreme? Probably not still, because the stagger is worth more, but it is actually an upscale. Next, we have Patrolling Flashlight. Let's have a look at this. We had before. If turn start, if the ID had a skill that gains or consumes charge count or unique, the skill 1 gains Clash Power 1 and deals 10% more damage with charge barrier. Turn end, if the affected identity does not have charge barrier, apply 2 charge barrier next turn. It is now, first effect, turn start, the identity gains 2 charge barrier, period. Second effect, if the affected ID has a skill that gains or consumes charge count, the identity's skill 1 gains Clash Power 1 and deals 10% damage while the unit has charge barrier. That is actually pretty good. That is they've reformatted it a little bit, so this bit is much more reformatted. And I think Yeah. Yeah, so they've reformatted it, and also this is turn start now, which means you get the effect at the start. What's the difference? You only got charge barrier at the end of the turn. Now you get charge barrier at the start of the turn, which means like AEDD, like for example, Hohenheim Gregor, characters who use charge barrier on themselves, like W. Korpong Lu, and all that stuff. So. And you have the shield at the start, pretty much. Solo nerf? No. This is a buff. You start with shield now. Instead of, this is a turn 1 buff. You start with the shield. So instead of getting the shield at the end of the turn, you get the shield at the start of the turn. Yeah, get charge barrier at the start of every turn instead of the end of every turn. Which means after you, yeah, W. Otis uses charge barrier. So there you go. That is a, I'm, you know, that's good. That's just makes it better now. Actually, quite kind of worthwhile now to take for those type of runs. Obviously, it was always good to take, but better now if you are worried about damage. Next, we have a Dreaming Electric Sheep change. We have before, in fact, you know what, chat? Let me open this up and we can zoom in. So it's a bit easier for you to read. So we have, does it add the shield we get from the other gift? It gives you charge barrier. It still gives you charge barrier, but instead of turn end, it's turn start. So we have Dreaming Electric Sheep. Before, after defeating an enemy by using an envy or slash, raise the unit's slash power by 2. Or slash skill power by 2. Now, we have if the enemy is killed by an attack end, or a slash skill or an envy, for 2 turns, starting the next turn, raise the slash skill power by 2 for the unit who used the skill. Okay, and this affected all of these. So these are the slash, pierce, and blunt skills. These all do the same thing, but for thing. This is actually quite good. This is good. It is a word change, yes. Does it actually make anything change about it? Yeah. I think this one's the only one that's the same, right? Raise the unit slash power for those who use the skill. If the enemy is healed by slash for 2 turns. This is for the next 2 turns. For the new turn, start the next turn, raise the slash on. So this one, it seems to be the same. This one is the same, but this one is different. No, this is all the same. Is it all just word changes? Hold on. Are these also word changes? Or did they update the effect? After defeating an enemy by using a Pride Affinity or Pierce damage skill, raise the unit's Pierce power by 2 for the next 2 turns. If an enemy is killed by attack end of a Pierce skill or Pride skill for 2 turns, starting the next turn, raise the skill power by 2 for the 2. Let's get that for 2. Nice, congratulations. It looks like they're the same. Extra adds a turn. Yes. Yeah, expression got updated, chat. Yeah, so these got cleaned up, but expression, after defeating an enemy by using a sloth or blunt, raise that unit's blunt skill by 2 until the end of next turn, is now if an enemy is killed by attack end of a blunt skill or sloth skill, for 2 turns, starting the next turn, raise the blunt skill power by 2 for those who've used the skill. So, expression is 2 turns. That actually is quite big. That's a blunt upscale, chat. So, now they're all just cleaned up, pretty much. But then we have probably the most crazy change. And there's no way that they did this on, there's no way. Mana Shape Music Box removed only applies to the first identity? It's global now? Isn't it once per encounter? Yes, but it's global now. It pretty much works like the hidden gift. Also, the effect changed. Well, or got more grammar, I should say. It's still only once a turn. Yes, but now it's not the first ID. It's just anyone who gets staggered. Because sometimes you'd have the first ID. You know, the first ID is your carry, but sometimes someone else will get staggered, and then the music box wouldn't prog and wouldn't do anything. And every floor one gift is mogged. We have before, when defeating an enemy with sinking, one enemy with the least sinking count gains 2 count. Now we have on kill, one enemy that has the least sinking count gains 2 sinking count. Again, it's a grammar adjustment. You get an unstagger, and you get an unstagger, and you all get unstaggers. So, TLDR, this got grammar, this got fixed to 2 turns, these got grammar fixed, this got buffed, this got buffed. Mana got hella cracked. Has a music box, and that's squeak. Oh, you're right! My bad. No. It is. It's when an enemy with sinking. This one doesn't require sinking. This one just requires on kill. Okay, my bad. When defeating an enemy with sinking, the enemy least sinking count gains 2 count. Now it's just on kill. So it's even easier to proc the sinking count pass, pretty much. So it's just faster now. They introduced recording of a certain day. Yeah, that's probably it. It's only 1 unit. It's the unstagger is only 1 unit per encounter, but now it's not the first unit. So now anyone who gets staggered in the encounter first will become will proc the effect. And then this got buffed too. So this just got straight buff. This is just a straight buff, pretty much. The only time that this is not a straight buff is if your identity, the first deployed identity, is like the only one that you need to not get staggered, I guess. No, it's better. It's better. So pretty much this. Every ID can now get unstaggered once. You can only get staggered once per encounter. Right? Before it was only restricted on the first identity. Right? Now any of the identities can get staggered, but it only procs once. Secondary, when you kill now, it just applies the sinking count. You don't have to kill with sinking. So it is just straight. It doesn't change for solos. Well, the on kill is changed, but yeah. For solos, it's still the same. It doesn't matter. But now it's just even stronger. Now, this one is interesting, chat. It's not a nerf at all. No, there's no nerf for it. It is a straight bonus. The only time it's considered a slight nerf is if either someone you don't want getting staggered, like you don't want getting staggered but like on kill with sinking was super specific. On kill with sinking is only applied to non-SP units. Also, they changed the ring fusion. I'll upload this. Here we go. So they changed the ring fusion. Now it used to require the homeward, the headless portrait, and the average artwork. They took the headless portrait out. Now it's the canvas and the artwork, which is the thing from the pack. It's the double canvases. They forgot they had 2 rings. Yeah, these are both the ring fusions, chat. This is the ring gift. So originally, no, it does make more sense. But my headless portrait's gone. They got rid of the fucking tier 1 sinking. Now you can, yes, now the reason is because now you can do sinking fusion and bleed fusion. That's the reason. But to be honest with you, I feel like it should have been like this from the start. I swear to fuck, I remember when I was doing a ring run, I accidentally got the white canvas instead of the artwork. And I was like, why the fuck is the canvas not used for the fusion? Turns out, you know, not an uncommon thought. So now, the portrait can now be used in a fusion. Alongside, the tier 5 gift. So they, pretty much, it's how it should have been from start. I do like that the homeward stays. Also, this is actually easier to get, by the way. Because the pure white canvas is a tier 2, the headless portrait is a tier 1. Are there any blinking IDs? No, these are the first 2 blinking IDs. You can create a 5/5, but you need to have someone die. All right. Anyway, now we have the adjusted ego gift, by the way. So, adjusted effect. On hit with plus coin attacks against an enemy that has 15 bleed potency, heal 3 SP once per turn for identity. If the identity your target has negative effects, heal 6 SP instead. Now it just heals you on top of that. Blinking double keyword? Yeah. As per the ego gift exclusive artwork's new fusion recipe, you'll now gain the effect from Pure White Canvas. Homewood is a bit of a pain, but at least it makes it unique. Tier 1 being harder than Tier 2 is hella funny. It's hella funny, but it is true. But yeah, that pretty much is what I expected. So the ring fusion, again, another ring upscale. The ring ego doesn't have no, it doesn't have a requirement. It just needs, it only works on ring IDs. It doesn't work on non-ring IDs. So you need one more. You need, okay, yeah. If you want to do double, double fusions, like double keywords in a team, you need to have 3 identities with double keywords to have both of them on the field at the same time. If you have 2, you need to proc one of them first and then have one of them die and be replaced with the other one. For example, if you have 2 bleed sinking IDs, chat, right? You need to have 3 bleed IDs on the field, right? And then 2 sinking IDs. That makes 5 bleed and 4 sinking. You need to have a bleed unit die, which will then sub in the sinking unit, making it 5/5, right? And because the ego gifts permanently activate, you then get double keyword. But that's pretty much it. Is there even any bleed? Assuming you're also using all the ring, by the way. I'm not really sure who you'd want dying. But, yeah. He used the blinking team? Maybe. Ring fell bullet someone. Funnily enough, chat. Funnily enough. There is one ego in the game that is actually bleed sinking. And it's Heathcliff. So, Heathcliff's fell bullet is bleed sinking. When doing sacrifice skills, I recommend using lower levels to make it faster. Yes, Heathcliff has fell bullet. And it's bleed sinking. It's actually poise bleed sinking. Funnily enough, it doesn't target allies, but it is bleed sinking. So, I mean, theoretically, you could actually use it on the team and get the conditionals for it. Which actually, I think the conditionals on it are, it's only torn memory. I don't even think it has it, but... Yeah, the Abno is bleed sinking, but the Yi Sang is poise bleed. Dude, I would have loved if Yi Sang was bleed sinking. I think bleed sinking for Yi Sang would have been hilarious. I do think, dude, Yi Sang would have been really funny if he was but I get why, because the abnormality the abnormality gives poise gifts, right? And fell bullet is poise. He's a gun, right? He's a poise stuff, so it makes sense. But I would have loved if he was sinking bleed. Isn't Tricolicusm bleed sinking? Yes, alongside the Great Tricolicusm. I didn't include them because that's the standard. Like, we already knew that they had that, but there was an ego before them that had bleed sinking. Also, we're done with this. We can close this. Boop. And now we can move on to bug fixes. All right. Bug fix time. Updated Lamp Gregor's passive to no longer apply to assist units. Oh, wow. It applied to assist units? Only Yi Sang's... no, Yi Sang's is not bleed sinking. Yi Sang's is poise, burn, sinking. And Ryoshu's is poise, burn, bleed. I thought it was indiscriminate. I mean, technically almost every ego is indiscriminate if you think about that, but... So, this is funny. I didn't really think about that, but I guess you could have given Guardian of the Forest to like fucking Vespa or something, bro. I'm sure he could have used it, bro. Fixed an issue where House of Spiders use Sang's unlock stage Vex when not loading. Burgulia's getting buffed by Forest is funny. That actually is quite funny. I don't think you can have him though in the team. Fixed an issue where the game would crash under certain circumstances. What the fuck? AEDD Gregor and Red Eyes Ryoshu? Issue cause. At Tomb Gloom Res, AED Gregor's passive applied 2 count on the allies with the earliest deployment. On April 2nd, we deployed a fix to follow issued Red Eyes Ryoshu to display twice. When this fix Gregor passive applies to Ryoshu, it applies to the stage buffs instead of the incorrect stage. The issue occurs when Ego uses its Serious Skullbuster to consume the Red Eyes, but gains the higher stage version of Red Eyes due to LCE Gregor's passive. I got the crash? I never got the crash, so I'm surprised. With the fix, even the Red Eyes Ryoshu uses the Skullbuster. The passive will now apply to stage 1. Oh! Right. Okay, I get it. Right. It's because that Red Eyes Ryoshu's her charge buff is like 3 stages. She has Red Eyes Impendent stage 1, 2, and 3, and it was tricking the game into thinking it was the higher level one that made it crash. What's this? Adjusted the activation timing of the Ego gifts that the max charge count cap. Relevant Ego gifts is the gloves and the jewel. Did I forget Gregor is in the third fight with the funny thumb? I did forget. Because I'm so used to the Roach Emperor version. I completely forgot about the base Valencina version. What is this? The mechanism? Dude, what is wrong with me? The mechanism behind the effect that raises the max charge count is an invisible buff added at turn start to each unit that raises their max charge count. This meant that the effects that gain charge count at encounter start or upon entry gain charge count before the max cap was raised, meaning they would hit the charge count before the cap is expected. Adjusted the timing to increase before encounter start or upon entering for the first time. Dude, I love PM, bro. I love that. I love it's just a fucking invisible buff, bro. It's not like anything complicated. It's just a fucking random ass fuck up buff that just increases the charge cap at the beginning. I love this ghetto ass fucking. This is ghetto code, bro. Fixed the issue where the Ego gift Pure White Canvas did not work. Okay. If said identity on target has 3 negative effects, heal 6 SP. We have identified an issue where if said identity has 3 negative effects, it just does not trigger. Okay, interesting. Fixed the issue where the game would unrespond when retreat or substitute occurs while fighting hidden bosses. Huh. I never saw that. This issue where a extreme hidden boss skill does not work as intended, viewing the tableau. Interesting. Fix an issue where, while using Facade, player random animation does not take animation from skill 2 animations. Ian, fix an issue where in stage 937 and 43, a certain enemy had an incorrect passive. The effect working as intended, the translation only issue. Okay. Fix an issue where certain enemies featured in the Railway, Line 1 Bokak, have skills that do not match their description. Relevant enemy. Everything there of an Inquisitor, preceding Inquisitor, relevant adjust shell. On hit without cracking heal 10% HP do not trigger. Remove description. In order to ensure a consistent combat experience, we'll be adjusting the description. Good, hell yeah, nerf those fuckers, bro. Good, I'm glad. Gut their ass, I don't care. Fix the issue where in specific gameplay environments, the combat backgrounds could fail to load. Fix the issue where previewing rewards in the inbox causes the in-game camera to malfunction. Updated the in-battle Mirror Dungeon adversity effect icon to match the current Mirror Dungeon concept. Fixed the issue where the projection achievement menu bar was affected by hidden achievements. Improve the in-battle announcer UI visibility in bright backgrounds. Oh, that's good. 300 lunacy. 300 lunacy. Anyway, that's it for that. So, pretty decent. Not bad. We had a few minor things. Pretty much TLDR. No bonus Lunacy, guys. We'll give you a quick TLDR. So TLDR, we have standard extractions. We have White Cassipium got buffed to 2 turns instead of 1 turn. Patrolling Flashlight now gives you Charge Barrier at turn start. Dreaming Electric Sheep and Gathering Skulls had grammar changes. Today's expression now lasts for 2 turns, similar to Gathering Skulls and Dreaming Electric Sheep. It has been buffed. The mana-shaped music box has been hella buffed. It has now removed its deployment order and now affects in all kills instead of just sinking kills. The artwork, I'm going to say the artwork got buffed because the artwork got changed now to where it no longer needs the sinking fusion. It is now both the unique ring fusions. There you go. This mana boxes, we're going to have to see this on. This might become like, I mean, mana boxes already like take it every turn, take it every run. This might just make it even more take it every run. I'm not even going to lie to you. Having any unit just become unsackable is so goated. Is White Cassipium count by Otis unique tremor? I'm not sure. Oh, are you talking about that? Oh, you're talking about the fracture. They have to be staggered for fracture to work. So no, it wouldn't affect them. You need to be staggered. Dregs also has violin. True. Holy shit. This is actually I can't believe I'm saying this, but Dregs of the Mana has become pretty much the best one. What does Fracture do again? So Fracture will, what it does is when you are staggered, so Stagger has multiple levels. It has Stagger, then Stagger plus plus, and then Stagger plus plus plus. What Fracture does is when you get staggered, it puts you at the next Stagger threshold. So if you are staggered, you would get Staggered plus. If you are Stagger plus, you would become Stagger plus plus. It's very niche. It's an extremely niche tremor thing. But yeah, pretty much that's what it does. Massive Dregs of the Mana upscale. This is why he's the weakest. No, not my boy. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, it's quite nice. So that's the TLDR for the patch note. And now, guys, I guess it's the thing that you all been waiting for. It's a Priest Gregor upscale. True. Floor 15 with Valencina? I would love to see that too. Alright. It's the thing you guys have all been waiting for. Let's talk about the IDs. So, we're going to start with Mersault because Mersault is the most basic one out of the 2. Let me tell you that much. He is definitely the most basic one. Now, some people have been saying that he is another 2-star to 3-star epidemic, but remember, 2 stars don't exist anymore. Double keyword on all the rings? On these 2, yes. The only ones that don't have double keyword are the base rings. Hashtag Ishmael skill 2. Good to know. Did I do the video already? I do, but I like going over it on stream because I have more context and also I can explain it a little bit slower. So, yeah, this is one of those instances where 2 stars no longer exist. All right, everyone, we haven't had 2 stars in like 2 seasons. It's done. 2 stars are over. This is another example of that. What does being a 3-star get you over a 2-star? Okay, that's the first thing. First of all, you get better coins. You have more consistent coins. Like, you have 3-star level coins. So you have like a 13-1. You have like a 16-2. You have like a 23, right? What else does it give you? More damage conditionals. What else does it give you? More better status inflict. It really is only and ever an upside. There is really no downside. It also means that it lasts longer into the Limbus history lifescale. Now, there is only one downside to being a 3-star over a 2-star. And that it is more expensive to... dispense a 3-star than it is a 2-star. They cost the same. They're all the same. It costs the same and it's all the same. That's pretty much it. It is a free ID. This is blunt. They're actually both mono blunt. Prince might survive. Prince is going to be fine. Yeah, it was multi-keyword, but that was like unintentionally. Now they're intentionally doing it. Is that you can't use the teal only run. Yes, you cannot do a 2-star only run. But let's talk about this. So, Mersalt, which is the student, is a mono blunt. Both of them are actually mono blunt, by the way. We're all ears for some French pronunciations. Oh, don't worry, you're not getting them. I will be avoiding all French words and replacing them with my own words. Blunt with scratch marks is funny. It is kind of funny that they are mono blunt and they have the appetizer more expensive, I guess. Yeah, but you get 400 thread from the event, so it's like, if everyone was a 3-star, no one is. Anyway, let's start, shall we? We have skill 1, which is a Wrath. We have Rough Portrayal. It is a 2-coin blunt. Deal more damage for every X type of negative effect on the target. Then we have On Use, gain coin power for every bleed and sinking on the target. Simple. The first coin inflicts bleed potency. I'll zoom in a little bit more. The first coin inflicts bleed potency. The second is count and sinking count. This is simple. Didn't even look at the IDs. No, we just started going over the IDs again. This is very simple. You got basic, non-neutral bleed count, but he actually does become neutral, by the way. It's just later in the kit, or even positive in the kit. But this is it. Simple skill 1. It's nothing to write home about. It has sinking count, though, which is nice. Now we move on to Visceral Strokes, which I'm sure a lot of people want to do to Mersalt. We have a 3-coin blunt. Pride. Deal more damage for every X type of negative effects on the target. On use, if the target does not have mold color, red. Gain clash power. On use, gain coin power for every X bleed and sinking on the target. True! Wild statement? I'm just saying it. I mean, what are my expectations for Furry Rodeo? She's a baddie, and she plays like a baddie. First coin inflicts bleed potency. Second inflicts bleed potency and sinking potency. The third inflicts bleed count and is sinking potency. Say that again? No, I don't think I will. Strokes. This is a simple skill too. It doesn't give anything. It doesn't have anything special to it, except it does have the mold color rouge. It's supposed to be pronounced rouge, but I'm not calling it that. I'm just gonna say red. So mold color red. Okay. So this is kind of very, what do you call it? This is what's the word I'm trying to think of? Volatile. This is like a volatile clash power. That's why it's only clash power, because if you're using both of these identities, you're gonna have the fucking mold color on them. But this is specifically red, so. Now we move on to skill 3, which is the 3-coin lust reveal submission. No, I'm not gonna pronounce this one. Or like Favism. Favism. It's the French word for red. I don't know. I don't speak French, and I'm not going to piss off any more of the French speakers, so I'm just going to say my own words. We have Reveal Submission, which is a 3-coin last skill. Deal more damage for every X type of negative effects on the target. We have On Use, gain final power for every bleed potency on the target. We have On Use at less than X HP. Or if the target has Y mold color, use the coin 3 an additional time. Just adds a coin 3 at the end, makes it a 4-coin. However, use a coin 3 an additional time for this skill and convert all the coins to unbreakable. On hit with the gained coin, so specifically the 4th coin, you will randomly inflict the mold color on the target, divided by Z, bleed, or sinking potency. You will inflict bleed on the first coin, bleed and sinking on the second coin, and bleed count, sinking count, and mold color red. And this gets repeated twice. So you inflict 2 bleed counts, or 2 instances of bleed count, 2 instances of sinking count, and 2 instances of the mold color red. So it's like the yeah, it's like Ishmael and Honglu. She upscale. She upscale? We have 2/2 Pierce and 2 Blood Ring IDs. It is kind of funny. So his skills are very simple, as you can see. Like, his skills are very simple. The most complicated one is his skill 3, but he does get a little bit more complicated once we start getting about his passives. And not that much more complicated, because he used the base ID. Here we have coloring preparations. We have a 2-coin Lust Clutch counter. If this unit has Beast Mode. Gain base power. On use, if the target has X bleed or sinking potency, gain coin power. First coin on hit inflicts bleed. The second on hit inflicts sinking. This is simple, but to figure out what this is, we have to know what Beast Mode is, and we don't know what Beast Mode is yet, so we'll figure out what that does. Now, on to the passive. Now, this is this is a really good passive, by the way. We have the Ring Valvis Student. On hit with a base attack skill, you will inflict Mauled Color Red. Okay? So, every single skill inflicts Mauled Color Red. Buffs SP. Doesn't that mean that the Deluge does more? Potentially. We'll have to figure out how that works. But we're not there yet. So, yeah, he just inflicts potency, even more potency with everything, pretty much. Now, I don't know how much he is going to inflict, but he just inflicts Mauled Color on every hit. So every hit just inflicts it. This also counts as inflicting negative effects, which technically means he inflicts negative effects on every skill, which he already kind of does. Is that a well hard upscale? Yes. Turn end. If this unit has inflicted an X amount of Mauled Color Red during the encounter, gain Beast Mode. So this is how you activate Beast Mode. You activate Beast Mode by inflicting an X amount of red in the encounter. Whether this be 20 red, or 15 red, or 10 red. At the end of that activation, it's like a reverse tableau, pretty much, right? It's reverse tableau. You activate Beast Mode by essentially doing that. Then, this is very important because we'll come back to this. At the coin start of the Ring Valvis Docent, Rhodion's critique skill, which is her ascended counter, Valvis Mersault gains a buff called the Imperfections Addressed. We'll come back to this once we read what it actually does, but all you need to know is the critique skill is an ascended counter, power counter that Rhodion gets every few turns. Is it overkill in a mirror dungeon? In a normal mirror dungeon, yes. In a extreme, go nuts. Now we have the second passive, which is quite funny. We have Welling Inspiration. If the unit has Beast Mode, inflict more Mauled Color Red. So once you enter Beast Mode, you inflict more potency. Cool. Every time this unit inflicts Beast Mode, heal SP. Okay, cool. So he has his own little SP heal, much like all the other rings. Funnily enough, all the rings heal SP, which is kind of funny. But that's how he heals SP. Aha! However, if your SP is at max, you gain blunt damage up for next turn when you heal SP. This is exactly like the other two rings. Oh, this is exactly like the other rings, pretty much. Do I think this will overpower the two Blood Fiends? I don't think you're using these two if you're using the Blood Fiends. That is perma blunt up? Pretty much. That's why it's damage up. That's the thing. If you're using Blood Fiends, you're doing something else. I think this further... Okay. These two are this. This is if you want to use these two IDs, but you don't have a... You don't want to use Blood Fiends, pretty much. Like, Blood Fiends... Remember, Blood Fiends are greedy. All they care about is Blood Feast and buffing the and feeding the family, right? If you don't want to care about feeding the family, if you don't want to use Blood Fiends, then you can use these. Does it work with adversity? I don't know. Do you think triple keyword bleed seeking charge would only ring? Potentially at the moment, yes. You have Blood Fiends, Ring, and Kurokomo. There's a lot of bleed, as I've said.
Animals by Maroon 5 starts playing.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for the support. Yeah, pretty much. Animals by Maroon 5 starts playing, and that's what happens. I'll always feed the family. Yeah. And then we have the support passive, which I actually think is better than Rodion's support passive, depending on how it's activated. We have Impastoed Scar. Ally with the fastest bleed inflicts a defense level down for every X type of negative effect on the target. This is just a simple negative effect. There's nothing special here. It's just negative effects. Bow, bow, bow. So that's his base attack skills. But now let's go on to his passive. As you can see, his second page is not much to speak about. It is more so talking about the buffs, which we'll go over. So here is what Mauled Color Red does. We have Mauled Color Red. When hit, gain X amount of bleed potency for every Y stack. Turn end, gain X defense level down next turn for every Y stack. Lose X amount of stack per turn. Pretty much when you hit someone who's mauled with red, they gain bleed potency, and at the end of the turn, they gain defense level down. It's free negative effects. It's free bleed potency for you. Then we have Beast Mode. So what does Beast Mode give you? Beast Mode deals more damage for every mauled color on the target. This includes blue and red. Inflict more bleed and sinking potency with base skills. But then there's also something else, which is before hitting with a base skill, if the target does not have bleed, inflict bleed count on the target. So that's definitely the most interesting one, because you need to be beast mode. So this already requires you to scale a little bit in the fight, but this kind of makes Mersault really good at initiating bleed. Initiating a bleed stack, because there's characters who are better at initiating a stack and then like maintaining a stack. He's definitely morbing it. But this kind of pushes Mersault into being more of an initiator than a sustainer. But there you go. Then we have his Imperfections Addressed. This is the unique buff he gets when Rodion uses her Ascended Counter. Deal more damage. Cool. Do you think it's 1, 2, or 3? It might be like 2. I feel like it's like 2 potency. I feel like it'll be 2 count. Because that'll kind of make him neutral and everything. And maybe a bit positive on his S1. I think it might be neutral. I think it might be 2. It could be 1 though. I think it's no more than 2. So deal more damage, and on reuse of a coin in Rodion's critique skill, which is Rodion's Ascended Counter. So every time Rodion reuses a Ascended Counter, Mersault will heal SP. And then turn start if Rodion does not have her reflection passive expire. Or her, I'm just going to call it her reflection passive. If she does not have her reflection buff, it expires. So TLDR, when you Ascended Counter with Rodion, it buffs Mersault for X amount of turns. And that's pretty much it. It's very simple. It's a very basic, trust me, it's an incredibly basic version of Rodion. Rodion is where it gets incredibly fucking complicated. Ugh. So, that's Mersault, and that's what he can do. Now, what does Rodion do? Now we're going to talk about Rodion. Well, the thing is, it doesn't seem that good on paper. But when you're talking about stuff that's like unfocused battles, or if you're talking about things where it's like wave fights where new enemies come in, or fights where enemies spawn in new entities that you have to fight throughout the counter, you'll find more mileage with that. Secondary, you want to use this with Rodion, not just without Rodion. You can use it without Rodion, but you're going to get a lot more benefit when you use it with Rodion, because now let's talk about Rodion. And, yeah. Yeah, the greed of this woman is diabolical and needs to... The greed... Yeah, the greed of... She ate all of Mersault's coins. Look at this. Yeah. So... These would be more for potency? Yes, that's a good way to put it, yeah. These are definitely the potency dogs. Pointillism is definitely for the count. This is for the potency. And then the corpus are kind of just fucking vibing. So, what does Rodion's greed have to do? Let's read, shall we? Potency dog. Let's start. She is also mono blunt. She has gloom, envy, and lust. So she has gloom, envy, and runs. First skill, it is vehement overpainting. It is a 1 coin gloom. Deal more damage for every X type of negative effects on the target. Deal more damage if the target has... I'm gonna call this... What do I call this without insulting the French language? Let's just call this paint marks. Or paint claws. We'll just say that. Deal more damage if the target has paint claws. Okay? On use, gain clash power and final power for every X bleed and sinking on the target. Number 1, reuse this coin if target has X type of negative effects. Welcome back, Ring Pointillism S2. Then we have inflict bleed count, inflict sinking, inflict mold color, red. Vibrant palette, I'm just gonna say vibrant palette. That vibrant palette definitely is a lot easier to say. Colorful palette, you can just say colorful palette. Vibrant, colorful, claw marks. It's a claw marks. That's pretty much what it is. Vibrant claws or claw, palette claws, blah 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 blah. So, this is kind of goated. We got bleed count, reuse skill. We got the mold color red. We got clash power, final power. Not that bad at all. We also have this vibrant palette, which we'll figure out what that is later. Here we have skill 2, which is expression of primary colors. 2 coin blunt. Deal more damage for every X type of negative effect on the target. Deal more damage if the target has vibrant palette. Deal more damage if the target has X types of mold color. On use, gain final power for every bleed and sinking on the target. On use, gain coin power for every X type of negative effects on the target. Butcher the words, it is funnier. I know it's funnier, but I've already butchered the words in the video. I don't think I need to butcher the words here. So this is kind of goated. The coin power conditional is pretty much permanent. She pretty much has permanent coin power on her skill 2. Because like negative effects are super easy to do. What does it actually do, by the way? First coin inflicts bleed, potency, and mold color red. The second coin inflicts sinking count, inflicts mold color blue, and inflicts... I don't know how to pronounce this word. And inflicts touche. Isn't it always effective if it lands? Yes. How do you pronounce this word, chat? I don't know how to pronounce this word. I need an I don't even know what the word means. What's an alternative? We get a mold color for every status? Or at least a mold color for 2 of the statuses. Touche hardy. So I was right. So it is touche hardy. Ho-ho? It's just tush? I'm just gonna call it hardy. Okay to use translate. I'm gonna call it hardy. Okay? Because that's just hardy. We call it hardy. Inflict hardy if the target has X type of negative effects. I think that's not French. I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. Inflict hardy. That's what Rodion inflicts on me. Anyway, it's a fence term. Well, I don't know fencing either. It came from French. Fair enough. Here we have a 4 coin. Brutal. I'm not pronouncing all of this. Left Valvism, brutal. 4 coin, Lust Blunt. We have deal more damage for every X type of negative effect on the target. We have deal more damage if the target has Vibrant Palette. We have before use. If the target has X types of negative effects, activate as burst forth the pulsing crimson under your skin, which is seems to be a very easy ascended skill 3 conditional. Nari! Oh, thank you for the Nari! I appreciate it. Ring hype. Also, Verdia looks so fine. She looks so fine. She is very, very baddie, I must admit. She's incredibly baddie. So we have a very easy ascended skill 3. Which is just negative effects. We have on use gain coin power for every bleed and sinking on the target. Then we have the skills. We have first coin inflicts bleed and mold color red. The second inflicts bleed count and mold color red. The third inflicts sinking and mold color blue. The fourth inflicts bleed count and hardy next turn if the target has X types of negative effects. And then the final hit also just inflicts hardy. So there you go. Ring buff. Actually, I could just say that. Inflict a ring buff next turn. That's pretty much what it is. It's just inflict a ring buff. So I'm just going to call it the ring buff next turn. Inflicts ring buff, inflict ring buff. Now we have the Ascended skill 2, which is an unfocused volley. Burst forth the pulsing crimson under your skin. We have unfocused volley, 4 coin unbreakable. Deal more damage for X type of negative effects on the target. Deal more damage if the target has Vibrant Palette. Gain coin power for every bleed and sinking on the main target. It goes as follows. The first coin inflicts bleed and mold color red. The second is bleed count and mold color red. The third is sinking potency and mold color blue. The fourth coin will hit all targets, inflicting bleed count and inflicting ring buff. So pretty much a better version of the normal skill 3, most likely with either higher numbers, higher damage, higher everything. She's going to go for a zone out. Then we move on to a kind of a cracked skill, I'm not going to lie to you. So here we have her counter. We have trimming the medium as a 2 coin blunt lust counter. Flashable counter, deal more damage if the target has vibrant palette. We have before use. If the unit does not have reflection, and if the target has X amount of negative effects, activate as critique. We'll figure out what that does. So pretty much this. Anytime that you do not have this buff, you use the Ascended version, but we'll talk about that in a second. What does it do? You gain final power for every bleed and sinking on the target. The first coin inflicts bleed potency, the second inflicts the mold color red. It inflicts more red, however, if you do not have red on the target. The second inflicts sinking and also mold color blue, and it also inflicts more if you do not have blue on the target. Conditional counters? Yes. Now, what is the Ascended skill 3? The Ascended skill 3 is a 1 coin blast called Critique, and this is what it does. Deals damage for every X type of negative effects on the target. It deals more damage if the target has Vibrant Palette. You gain Clash power up if they have Vibrant Palette. You gain Final power if they have Potency and Sinking and Bleed. You gain Clash power for every negative effect on the target. You gain Reflection, which we'll figure out what that does later. And it is a reused counter. Reuse this coin for X type of negative effects on the target. Inflicts Bleed, Sinking, randomly inflicts mold color red or blue, and also inflicts a ring buff if this is the X coin used. Now, how does this work? I'll explain how this works, but pretty much this. This buff, I'll give you a small TLDR. Pretty much this buff will last however long you have that many ring IDs. So if you have 5 ring IDs, it lasts for 5-ish turns. around that as far as I'm aware. So the more ring IDs you have, the longer that this buff gives you, and the longer you cannot use it again. So pretty much you use this counter once. The first time in an encounter you use this counter, it'll be an ascended version. Then for the next few turns, you will no longer have the ascended version. You have the normal version. Then after a few turns, isn't it one turn? I think it's a few turns. It lasts a few turns, I believe. But we'll talk about that again when we actually get to this, because it's down here or something. You lose X amount of stacks, so it stacks, so it doesn't end. Actually, I believe it's in the passive. Speaking of, here's the passive. It's pretty much rules of the backstreets. Here's the first passive, by the way. We have mentorship. Gain homage equal to the number of ring student identities on the field. They gave the ring another fucking team leader. She's a 2 team leaders. We have Maestro, Honglu, and we have fucking Dawson Rodion. 2 team leaders. Does fast count? I don't know. I don't know. I have the game open. Should I check, chat? Hold on. If we go here, he doesn't have a student tag. Is it just in his name? There's no tag, so it must be in the name. If it's in the name, then I don't know if fast counts. She says apprentice. So, we'll see. Is Dawson higher than Maestro? No, Dawson is weaker. But she is also a team leader. So there are 2 team leaders. So, she gains this homage equal to the number of students on the field. Which, for now, let's just assume... that Faust is not counted. Right? They might add a tag. Let's assume they're not counted for now, so it's just 3 IDs, chat. So we'll have Mersalt, we'll have Yi Sang, and we'll have Otis. Let's just for now assume that, because I think it probably would be. I assume Faust would also be a student, but she's an apprentice, so I think it might be different. Yeah. So let's just assume. So it's a 3, so she gains 3 homage. Let's just go with that. And also, turn start, randomly apply the number of ring identities on the field, which is 3 students, offense level up or defense to any X of the student allies. So, 3 offense up, maybe to 3 allies or something like that, or 3 defense up to 3 allies. True. And that's her first passive. So she's a team leader. We'll figure out what this homage does as well. Next, we have the Sauvage. We have a second passive. Yes, we talked about Mersal. He was first. So here we have a second passive, which is Combat End. Inflict Vibrant Palette next turn to enemies that have the Maud color red, blue, and the ring buff. To anyone who has any of these negative effects, the Vibrant Palette will automatically add to that. If the target has an X amount of red and blue, you inflict even more Vibrant Palette. Let's call it Color Savage. I'm just gonna say Vibrant Palette, because it's the same thing, just backwards. So, TLDR, anytime you inflict any of this, which by the way, literally every skill inflicts it. Like, this inflicts it both. This inflicts both. This inflicts both. This inflicts both. So, anytime you inflict the effect, you will gain more Vibrant Palette, and yeah. Next turn, enemies that have it simultaneously. Inflict Vibrant next turn to enemies that have the Maud Palette, Rogue, Blue, and ring buff simultaneously. Okay, so they have to all have it. So if you have all of it, you get the palette. But considering how much, I mean, look, she literally inflicts it on everything. The skill 2 alone fulfills the conditional. She inflicts red, blue, and the ring buff in one skill. She inflicts it. It's 2, 3, and Ascended skill 3. Plus Mersault inflicts 1. So 1, 2, and 3. This is on skill 2. 1, 2, and 3. And then 1, 2, and 3. So her skill 2 and skill 3 inflicted pretty much. I'm already at W. Then gain Beast Mode. If any of the following conditions are met, you have inflicted Vibrant Palette X amount of times, you have used Critique X amount of times, and you have used Burst Forth the Pulsing Crimson under your skin. So Beast Mode will activate when any of these are met. The easiest thing here that's probably going to be met is like what, the Ascended skill 3? So, yeah. How does it go? Then at least use a Chimera. Feels like they're all bleed. I mean, I really like this. This is kind of like a unique syncing without it being unique syncing. I like this effect. A normal caster doesn't inflicts it? Yes, it does. Her normal counter inflicts it. And so does her Ascended one, because it reuses. So literally, her Ascended critique... Her normal, literally everything inflicts it. So, that's how you get Beast Mode. Which is very nice. Then she has a third passive, by the way. Yeah, by the way, she just has a third passive. Not only does she have a third passive, it just inflicts more Mauled Color Red, Mauled Color Blue, and Ring Buff. What? This is definitely a res passive, by the way. There's no way this isn't a res passive. This is 100% a res passive, but it just makes her inflict more. She just does more. How much greed? What is this woman's greed, bro? She just wants everything. How much is she fucking inflicting of this, dude? She inflicts so much of it. I need to know how much. I like the name. Needs a rougher touch for this part. Why not owned? I don't think it's owned because it doesn't feel like an owned passive. It feels like a res passive. Typically, when you have something that's like inflict more, that usually means you have to fulfill a conditional to inflict more. And then we have a support passive, which is nice and slow. Don't let it break. It can be said for a lot of things about Rodion. Here we have, apply the following effects to the identity with the earliest deployment order. If Lust Resin is an odd number, inflict more bleed potency. If Lust Resin is of an even number, inflict more sinking potency. If the identity is in the ring, gain offense up or defense at combat start. This passive is just funny. The thing that I said this in the video, the thing about this passive that makes it funny is that 90% of Lust passives actually need an even number. So, it's quite funny. It pretty much means that you need to hit an odd number. This passive, it's fine. It exists. It just exists. I think Mersault is probably more useful overall unless you're using the ring IDs chat without... For example, if you're using... Okay, you know what you can do? If you're using the Corporus duo without... without Rodion, then yeah, this is good pretty much. Because you can have Rodion as a support passive and buff Honglu with the offense up and defense up. And that's good. But if you're not using them together for whatever reason, then it's okay. It's just whatever. Now, you thought her greed in the skills was enough. But what about her greed in the buffs that she has? Look at her buffs! Burn season, so said, hey, guys, there's gonna be 3 burn ID that drop in the next 6 weeks. Mark my words. Anyway, look at the greed on this woman. She has 6 unique buffs. Anyway. Where should we be burned? 100%, yeah. Anyway. Let's have a look. Here we have Mold Color Red, which is, we know what it does. When hit, gain bleed potency for every Y stack. Turn end to gain defensible down next turn for every Y stack. But now we have Blue, which is when hit, gain potency for sinking for every stack. Lose SP on turn end if this unit has Y stack. So I really like this. This is kind of like a really cool sinking. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of really enjoy this. So instead of defense down, she actually inflicts SP loss if you have X amount of stack, and you gain sinking potency. So she actually does quite a lot of sinking. Like in terms of actually inflicting like negative SP, she actually inflicts quite a lot of negative SP. Then we go on to her beast mode, and as you can see, the beast, guys, if you ever look at the beast mode, then it starts going clear how kind of goated she is. We have beast mode, min and max speed. Cool. But the count, let me answer that question for you. Inflict more bleed and sinking potency with base skills, but if the target has blue, you inflict sinking count. And if the target has red, you have bleed count. So if you have X blue, you get more sinking count. If you have X red, you have more bleed count. So there you go. There goes the count. Pretty much the longer the fight goes on, the more count you inflict. And this is not like Mersault's where it has to be the first one. This is just base. Her base skills just inflict more, which is very good. Her shin. Here we have the ring buff. Now, why is this called the ring buff? Well, technically, this is the ring buff, but I'm calling this this is hardy. This is the ring buff. Here we have take more HP and SP damage from bleed and sinking effects for every stack. So what this hard does, or the touche. What this deluge does is bleed can now go above 99. At least that's what I believe it's saying. It's saying you can take, instead of going 99, it'll now deal like 110 or 120. I'm not sure how much. And sinking, instead of doing 99, we'll do 110 and 120. Yes. More than 99 bleed. So that's what I assume it does. It's like concussion but for bleed, pretty much. Does that pass it does 99? Yes, I assume it means it bypasses the 99. So it's like concussion, so it's probably going to be like a multiplier. I don't know if it's a multiplier, because normally they say it's a multiplier. But yeah. Concussion makes you deal more damage for rupture, so it's probably 1.2. So it's probably 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. 118. Yeah, it'll most likely be 118, which is pretty nice. Wait, that's large. It's quite large. It's bold. Yeah, so we'll say hardy. Concussion works like Dark Flame? No, concussion works like an on-hit effect. Give this to version to everyone but Burn. Burn has this. Burn has this already. It's in Great Tricholicism Yisang's ego. He inflicts Shattering Star, or whatever it's called. And Shattering Star makes it so that enemies with the buff take 1.2 times damage from Burn. And it affects like the 10 attack weight. It'll be insane if Butterfly worked with it. That is actually quite interesting to say. It could. Shattered World, thank you. I think I was watching some fucking Paper Mario or something, so I had some different Shattering World. Yeah, I was watching some Paper Mario or something, and I just was thinking of like stars and stuff. And then we have the Vibrant Palette. Now, the Vibrant Palette is take more damage from the ring faction identities. So remember, this is the thing that you activate by just playing the game. If the attacker is in the ring faction and the School of Falvism, aka Mersault, take even more damage. So Mersault deals even more damage. Combat start, randomly gain bleed, sinking, bleed count, or sinking count for every stack. Combat end, this effect expires half the red and blue stacks on this unit. So, you can randomly gain bleed, sinking, bleed count, or sinking count for every stack. And there you go. You see how now she works? The longer the fight goes on, the more Vibrant Palette you inflict, the more blue you inflict, the more all this bullshit you inflict when you get your beast mode, she will eventually start building up massive amounts of count and bleed. 15, 25 from Falvism. It might be like 20 or 40. Mersault is the most basic one of the two. Mersault is the more consistent one of the two, is the way to put it. He is the one that you, like, the way I describe it is that Mersault is kind of like, he doesn't rely on the Maud colors, right? Like, Rodion really does rely on the Maud color effect. Like, she really needs it to activate her beast mode. She needs it to activate her, like, Vibrant Palette. Mersault doesn't need any of that. He's kind of chill. Like, he cares more about just inflicting the red status effect, while Rodion cares more about maintaining everything else. So he's kind of like a much more simpler version. He's pretty much a simpler version. Now we go back to here, sorry. And wins that way? Pretty much. Then we have two more effects, chat. We have Homage, which is turn start randomly gain offense level up or defense level up for every stack. Remember, she gains this from a passive, which is turn start. Which means every turn, with the 3 ring identities on the field, she will randomly gain 3 offense level up or 3 defense level up for every zoom, for every stack. Or a split between the two. So she'll either get maybe like 1 defense or 2 offense. She'll get 2 offense and 1 defense. She'll get 3 defense, 3 offense, whatever. Every turn she gets a random amount. And then we have Reflection. So here's the Reflection. By the way, this is a very pretty Rodion. Look how pretty she is. She's so pretty. Anyway, enough looking at Rodion. Cannot use critique during this turn. The unit has this effect. Turn start, heal SP. Turn end, lose X stacks. When this effect expires, you gain Homage, equal to the number of ring students on the field. The Thinker. So as you can see, by using Reflection, you gain Homage. Now you get this by using the counter. And how do you use the counter? You get the counter by using the counter without Reflection. So, turn start, you have no Reflection. You activate counter, it'll turn into Ascended counter and give you Reflection. You get Reflection, which prevents you from using the Ascended skill 3 for the Ascended counter for a few turns. And then after that expires, you gain even more Homage after that. So if you have 3, so you have 3 buffs and then 3 more buffs. Is Kavit once every other turn? It could be once every other turn. I think it's 3. I think it's either going to be 2 turns or 3 turns. The reason I say that is because Mersault is also buffed by this when it expires. So as you can see here, when he gets the imperfection when she uses critique. So at coin start, Rodion's critique, he gets the imperfection. And this lets him heal SP and deal more damage. Now, she activates this Reflection once every, I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 turns. And then this buff lasts 2 or 3 turns. because she heals SP at the start, and it says stacks. So because it says stacks, it's not just like turn end. So I'm gonna say like 2 turns it lasts, and then every 2 turns it also buffs her even more. So pretty much, chat, how you want to do this is every few turns you want to pop counter on Rodion. She might be considered a student. Yeah, we looked on the Limbus company, but the tag, there's no student tags or anything. Showing reading. So pretty much whenever you're using Rodion, every time you do not have reflection, you want to pop this counter. Yeah, she supports Masol, so that's why I think it lasts a few turns. Hello. So every few turns, you pop counter. What does counter do? It gives Masol a buff that makes him have more SP and deal more damage. It buffs the ring identities by buffing herself, because, well, it doesn't buff the ring IDs, but it makes her more buff, equal to the ring IDs. So 3 plus 3. And then that lets her do this more, which lets her do this more, which lets her do this more, which is... I say cover to stop S1. Her S1's really good. Her S1's kind of goated. I mean, it's a reuse with bleed count and bleed sinking and more Roy. Remember, this will also inflict more bleed count, by the way. This is positive bare minimum, by the way. Because of her bonus. And the way that the mold color works. So. And that's pretty much it for Rodion. Do you know how many we get in her counter? No, we don't know. It's probably going to be like 2 or 3. 3? Why is she French? I don't know. I guess because Falvis are French? See it in the trailer? Oh, yeah, we do see... I thought we only see it once in the trailer. On S1. Well, Mosold is underwhelming. I wouldn't say he's underwhelming. It's more so just he's a more basic version of Rodion. That's pretty much it. That's just how event IDs have always been, though. This isn't really anything new. Well, yeah. This is always how non-rerun identities have always been. The rerun identities have been different, I will admit. But in terms of like Inavalos or events, this is how it's always been. But the Bokgax, they do change it up in the Bokgax. Like, for instance, we had Blade, like the Kurokomo. Kurokomo Heathcliff was an event identity. Fucking insane event identity. He must be. We have W Corp Heathcliff, which funnily enough is 2 Heathcliff ones. Except for Lantern Sang. No. I said reruns. This is always how the initial Inavalos are. The initial Inavalos or event IDs are always like this. But the Bokgax are always typically more cracked or more like complicated because the Bokgax are just reruns, right? We're not getting a Bokgax 5 for 5? Oh no, we will eventually. You know how they are to you, Heathcliff? I don't think they're that similar. Mosold has 1 HP conditional, but I'm not really sure how much that matters. How much drops in the Inavalo? Well, okay, hold on. You're getting confused. It's not hard mode that's dropping. It's the super boss that's dropping. The super boss is a new mode that we're getting. So the super boss is a stronger version of the Inavalo boss, but it's not a Bokgax. The Bokgax is voice acting and everything, but we're not sure how this is going to change that. What do you mean by they say super boss? I wish I could get the panel up. It's a new game mode. I'm pretty... Yeah, hold on. Let me get the... Let me get the thing open to show you guys. Hold on. Let me get the roadmap open, chat. What should be another Heathcliff ID? More Heathcliff identities. It's on the Limbus company. Let me scroll down on the roadmap and show you guys. I just have to find it real quick. Where did they post the roadmap again? I love how they don't pin the roadmap, by the way. Kim Ji-hoon fucking hates roadmaps, bro. He'd rather pin the animation that they got, which, to be honest with you, I completely hella fucking agree with. That animation is fucking beautiful. But I find it really funny how he doesn't pin the roadmaps. He just fucking pins the animation. So I gotta scroll. Ah, here we go. I gotta scroll all the way fucking down to find the roadmap. Here it is. He said, fuck the roadmap, bro. He's like, I don't give a shit about the roadmap. Here you go. So as you can see right here. New content. Linked content boss challenge. Some Keter. Good luck with Keter, bro. I used the red mist. That's what I did. So as you can see, this is the new content. This is completely new content. It's linked to Innovallo. It's called Boss Challenge. It's pretty much a super boss. Anime is greater than roadmap. I mean, you're 100% correct. So, yeah, this is what we're going to be getting after 9.51. So 9.51 is going to be the first time we get this boss challenges. Well, actually, he's explained how it works. It's pretty much going to be a more stronger... Okay, so you know how we have, like, permanent RR1 Bokak? I believe it's going to be working like that. Will RR2 remove 1? No. RR2 will be included with RR1. Boss challenges are super bosses, chat. Pretty much, it's a souped up version of the Intervallo boss that is permanent content, I believe. It is permanent content, it doesn't go away, I think. And you fight it for like a challenge and rewards and stuff. So we're going to be getting that. How different is it from hard mode? We don't know. This is the first time we're getting it. No clue how it's different from hard mode. We have no idea. Mimicry done. It probably is like another piece of content that you can do pretty much, right? It's kind of like how RR1 Bokak, for instance, is like permanent. Let me show you. So kind of like how RR1 is permanent now. You can kind of always do RR1. I feel like this is going to be the same thing, where it's going to be like, oh, you go in here, and it's like, oh, fucking, you know, Innovallo, boom, super boss or whatever, and you can always fight the super boss. Pre-nerf Leia Hang as a super boss. They did mention that it's only for Innovallos. But again, we'll figure out more of it as, we'll figure out more when we get the patch notes. No, I don't think it's one time. I'm pretty sure it's permanent content. They're starting to add permanent content now with all the Bokaks and stuff. So we'll see if it's permanent. Do I think Ring's premise is going to go to Sinclair? Which ID would do Bleed Bird? Another Bleed Bird, which will complement Harmony? Good idea. How does Spring Cultivation Bokak work? Very easily. It's just Spring Cultivation. I don't think the mini game would change much, but probably the fight with the C branch and the way it gets different. Like, does it have to be a punching bag? I don't know. Bongi Chef. Line 6 is also coming soon, guys. We will, yeah, as you can see, chat, we're getting Nocturnal Sweeping, Bokak right after this. But fourth match flame is coming right before the Xiaomi ID. So that's how you know, guys. By the way, my prediction is this. Here we go, chat. I'm going to put my predictions right on the fucking table, okay? All right, here you go. You ready for this? Mark my words. So, in 9.5, we're getting the 2 ring, okay? Then, we're going to get a week off. Then, the next ID we're going to get is going to be Otis. It's going to be Nurse Father Otis. Then, we're going to get Nocturnal Sweeping, probably a high show for Mersalt, right? We'll probably get a high show Mersalt. Then, for RR6, we're going to get a double banner, dumb IDs. Then... we'll get Threadspin 5 alongside Ryoshu as the seasonal highlight, as a single banner. And that's what I think is going to happen. So I think it goes, we have the Ring Duo, Middle Otis. Then I think it goes High Show Mersault. Then I think it goes Thumb Duo. Then Xiaomi. Well, I guess this is Ryoshu's seasonal, I should say. Ryoshu's seasonal, and then I have no fucking clue what 5-2 is going to have. I have no clue what Buck X is going to have. I have no clue what Pogus is. And obviously, Kana 10 is probably going to be something. Also, we have the Auto Battler, which, again, has this weird little fucking crab here. Which I don't know what the hell this crab is, but we have an Auto Battler. Third ID in the season? Yes. I don't think it is Ricardo Heathcliff. I would be happy if, like, don't get me wrong. I would love to be wrong. But I don't think it's Ricardo. Because, guys, Nocturnal Sweeping is the high show. That's where the high show were introduced. Why? I get why Ricardo would be on there. But this is the high show, like, in a Valo. You know? So it makes sense to get a high show on it. And then we won't get a high show for Spring Cultivation. We'll get like a Night Drifter, or we'll get like a Jupan, or we'll get like a Hung Wan ID. The blue faction in the ring has been popping up too much and they're not getting context. That is true. Yeah, I don't think it will be Ricardo. Because I think Ricardo is going to get his own thing. Sea Branch Mersault. You get the other middle one? Well, there's no one else, because Werner we already got. We already got Werner. Werner was part of the standard banner during the time. It's another ring ID. Who else would it be in sweeping? A high show? Shi-Hua? It's gonna be Shi-Hua? I don't think it's gonna be Shi-Hua. I don't think it's Shi-Hua, guys. I have a strong feeling. Look, guys, if it's gonna be, if there's any Shi-Hua, it has to be his, like, his bolus form. What does the Ion Kana 10 mean? Gaze. Wang Xiao Yi-san. What high show do I think Mersault could be? I've spoken about this. I think he'll be Dragon. I think he's Dragon. She family Copas. She what? And they'll stare at Ronan's face. We'll stare a little bit more at it. There we go. That's a nice view. We'll stare at this for a while. Dragon served directly under the family, so it makes sense. I think Dragon fits the most. Why would a dragon be Nocturnal Sweeping? It's not that it's specifically a dragon. It's that it's a high show. We got U-Branch Sinclair during Spring Cultivation the first time. So it doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be part of the story. Dragon would be Charge? Exactly. Charge Rupture. Because it's burn season. Okay, bring the screen a little lower. I'll zoom out a little bit. Why would a chicken be in spring? No, he was already in spring. He was already in spring. Yeah, Ox is a potential. Dragon could be burned. We already have you. There's only 2 status effects left for high show chat. There's bleed rupture, or rupture bleed, and rupture and charge rupture. That's pretty much it. Yeah, being sarcastic. Oh, okay, fair enough. So it's gonna be a high show. It also could be the Ishmael too, but a Monkey Branch is a possibility as well. So because we have a sprite for Monkey, so it makes sense if we see Monkey. It could be Monkey. It could be Monkey Ox chat. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But we see dragon. Okay, guys, the ones that we've seen are dragon, monkey. The ones that we've seen that are left is monkey, dragon, and monkey, dragon, and ox. Those are the 3 we've seen. So, yeah, those are the 3 sprites left. There's got to be one of those 3. Doesn't GMU have a beaver? GMU has a lot of forms. We're still getting a 3rd seasonal ID. You know, you got to remember, Walpurgises don't count towards seasonal. Walpurgis does not count toward the seasonal cap. Walpurgises are completely separate. So even though he had a Walpurgis ID, it is not it is completely outside the source of the season. Didn't Ish only get 2 IDs last season? She got Z-Tune. And she got Kira. Well, Kira's this season. That explain why Hanafuda and Alan appear in Kano 8. General Walpurgis. Ooh, what's my Walp? Okay, good question. What's my Walp pick considering it's a guaranteed Walp? I think there's 3 things that it could be. We know it's guests. Okay? We know it's guests because Kim Ji-hoon specifically said it was invitations. That's not an abnormality, it's only this. There's 3 picks. And I think either of these 3 picks are goated. We get Index, She, or R Corp. I think any of those 3, I think you get massive W. Or Thumb. I guess add Thumb into that. But yeah. So Index, Thumb, I think She, or R Corp. I would love to see some R Corp, but like the first stage. I love to see Index or Thumb, because Thumb needs some more IDs now too. So I think Thumb is the least behind now. But She would also be. We've been desperate for She, you guys. Guys, we've been desperate for She. And She Faust, unfortunately, people don't like She Faust. Because she's not a She South unit. She's a kind of a different type of She unit. So make them terrible. But yeah, we could get, Index to fill the Index out. We could get Thumb to fill the Thumb out. Because now we know, chat. Now we know, right? That... What do you call it? The Ring have at least 6 IDs. Right? The Ring have 6 IDs. Which means that the bare minimum for... the fingers is going to be 6, because why would they give the Ring 6 and not everyone else? So we know there's going to be 6 at the bare minimum middle. We know that there's going to have to be 6 Index and 6 Thumb. So if we go with that logic, soon, yeah. If we go with that logic, guess what? Otis and Ricardo equal 6. Oh, Index is at 3. Walpurgis would be 2 more, that's 5. Thumb has 3. Well, Thumb will get 4. 6 IDs all targeting 1 enemy. It doesn't work like that. It does work like that. How many, and I can prove it. How many IDs do the Blade Lineage and Kurokoma have? 6. They have the same amount of IDs. Eh? Both syndicates. Both rivals. They both have the same amount of IDs. Eventually, they got to 6 IDs each. It didn't used to be. It took a while, but they got there. Well, actually, technically, the Blade each have 7, but don't worry about that. Just ignore that last bit. But I think it makes the most sense. Ignoring Kim Ji-hoon's greed because he loves the ring. Clearly, the ring is his favorite, right? So besides the ring clearly being his favorite, surely that means we're gonna have, and we also know that we're gonna get guaranteed 6 middle. Because we have 4, middle Otis about to make a 5, and then Ricardo, when we get him, is gonna be 6. So we know that's at least 6. So that's 2 coincidences. All right, that's 2 coincidences right there. So I want to stare at Rodion. That's already 2 coincidences. Then if we get a Walpurgis for, you know, the index, that's 2 more IDs. Add that onto the 3, that's 5, that's close. Thumb is gonna have 4 with Valencina. Add Thumb Gregor because I was Divine Wisdom. Thumb Gregor is gonna appear as an ID. I just had a Divine Thought. That's 5. And Pinky is, well, Pinky is Apprentice Sinclair and Thumb. There's 3 Pinky technically. There's Malfaust, there's Lei Heng, and then there's the Apprentice. But Apprentice Sinclair isn't even part of the Pinky yet. He's like a trainee. Let's switch to Mersault? Sure. You guys can look at Mersault. There you go. Could be Carlo. True. But I would also like a Thumb Rodion. Lord of Hongwon is not a Pinky. No. Lord of Hongwon is not a Pinky. Technically, LCB is... Okay, we've had this discussion before. She is Pinky by, like... by the fact that she has a star title, but she is not a Pinky, but that she is actually part of the organization. Yeah, I doubt Pinky will actually have, like, standard fixed IDs and stuff like that. Pinky is clearly going to be the special named characters. And we do know, by the way, that Thumb Mersault and Malfaust are 100% Pinkies because in their Uptype story, they are, they have their star titles and stuff like that, so. Catriel Faust. I mean, I feel like Catriel Rodion. Oh, actually, it can't be Rodion because she has Valencina. So it'd have to be like Catriel Otis. No, because Otis is like not... Catriel's kind of bratty. Otis wouldn't be bratty. So I don't think Catriel would fit. Does it have it in their passives? True. Ishmael. That's a... Yeah, fair enough. We could have a Thumb Ishi. I wouldn't mind a Thumb Ishi. A Thumb Ishi would be cute. Why do their titles make it because not Ryoshu? Because Malfaust and Thumb Mersault are a part of the Pinky. Like, they're actually involved with the Pinky. Ryoshu is not involved with the Pinky. She has not gone to the Pinky headquarters and talked to the Pinky leaders. She is not actually affiliated. She is has gained the title because she is the wielder of Ariyashiki, but not because she is a... You know what? It's you know what it is? It's you may be a Jedi on the council, but you may be on the council, but we not grant you the permission of Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, it's that. It's literally exactly that. It's like, we do not grant you the rank of master, even though you are a Jedi on the council. Right? Like, exactly the same thing. What a Dum Don work? Dum Don? I guess she'd be like I guess it'd be like Sancho. Not the Star Wars. It's the closest thing I can think of. Like, Ryoshu's not gonna call, like, if they call the Pinky, right? Like, if I fucked up the word, but if they call her, she's not gonna go. She doesn't give a shit. I can be a star and a Pinky. I cannot be a Pinky without a star. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Like, maybe after Limbus Company, she goes to become a Pinky with Arya, if she gets Arya back. That could be a thing. Like, because she has now the inherited star, she could potentially join, like, become part of the Pinky after. Yeah, unless in the fucking Inavalo is gonna appear and fucking Ryoshi's just gonna be smoking a fat blunt with the fucking Pinky, like, the Pinky Maestro, whatever they're called. What are the chances they will buff Syndicate units outside of the House of Spiders? I'm not sure if she will buff the Syndicates in general. I do know that she will affect specifically the House of Spiders, though, as you say. I'm not sure if she'll affect all of them, though. Because that's quite a lot of IDs to affect, if she does affect all of them. Blade Team is just all Ring. All Ring is literally 6 out of 7 IDs. So, like, hold on. Let's just go here as, like, a temporary, like, theoretical Ring, right? Like, if you want to run Ring, you'd be like this. You'd be like, okay, grab my Ring ID. I will go, like, a Corpus. Like, here's my Bleed Team, guys. I go here, grab, like, my Ring ID. You go here. Let's just use temporarily. We'll just temporarily use, like, N-Corp as a reference. You know. So you already got... you got 6 out of the 7 IDs. What's the 8th? Oh, yeah. 6 out of 7. Who's the 7th one? There's a few you could pick here. So we have a few options if we have a look here. If we get a bleed. You could do Solo Manager, which would be would give you a lot of Blood Feast, but you wouldn't get any Ascended skills. You could do, like, Remnant or Encore, like, or obviously the seasonal Ryoshu, but, like, Orshu. You could do Red Eyes. Fuck, you could even do Kurokoma if you want more bleed count, chat. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Kurokoma's the go to bleed count. You could do Pequod. I'm almost at 111. Yay! Pequod would not be a bad fit, chat. Because you do get Envy in this team, chat. You actually could Envy Resin. And look at this. Inflict bleed count equal to the third of the bleed potency on the target. Hey, that guy's got a lot of bleed potency. So this could actually be goated as fuck. Plus you have a certified tank. You could also captain. Captain to get more pursue them. And buff the, like, buff Faust with aggro or something. Chef Ryoshu. Think Radio will be OP? I think Radio will be kind of cracked, yeah. I think she's gonna be cracked. You could House of Spiders Sinclair. You know, if you want to be John Virtue of Humanity. I mean, you have Pride Res. You can get Pride Res in this team with Massault. And Hong Lu. And he does have bleed potency, but, you know. And then you literally have, like, Night Owl if you want to do Night Owl. Because Night Owl has Hemorrhage. Does he have Hemorrhage? Is it Fatal Wound? He has Fatal Wound, which would be good. Forget if he has Hemorrhage. No, he doesn't have Hemorrhage. He has Open Wound. He does have Hemorrhage, yeah. You can put Hemorrhage on here. Let Gregor solo the Tremor count. Because Tremor count doesn't go down, right? So you don't have to worry about Tremor count. So you can let Gregor fucking deal with it. I also want to crack. Yeah, Night Owl also has the... Actually, guys, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I actually think Night Owl might be the strat. Because Deep Wound. Deep Wound, you got Fatal Wound. Which on Tremor Burst gives bleed count. So not only do you have 2 separate unique effects, you also have Bind. So you have Bind, you have Tremor, and Deep Wound. So that's 3 unique effects, chat, already. Plus, if you do the Deep Wound and get Fatal Wound, anytime you Tremor Burst, that's a small count, which is free. Which, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, chat. You don't fucking need count. Look at your team, bro. Look at this team, bro. You got fucking Ring Yi-Sang on his own, can probably maintain the entire bleed count of this entire team. But if you want to do that, what if you don't take Otis and use Kurokoma Dua instead? You could do that. I'm just saying if you wanted to run like a pure, if you just wanted to run like a pure ring faction, I'm gonna Roses. I think she'll get like, in the trailer it shows 1. Yeah, plus follow-up attacks at low health, which is good from bleed. You can proc that on bleed. And he also has, although I think the only thing is, he does get base defensive down. Or you can use nail and hammer. There's quite a lot of options. Honestly, there actually is quite a lot of options. If you don't want to run ring, for whatever reason, you could run, where do I? But I think you get more benefit. See, like, the thing is, at this point, when you have 5 ring, you have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you have 5 ring IDs on the field, I don't think having the double Kurokomo is really going to be worth it. Because remember, Kurokomo benefits more the more Kurokomo there are on the field. So if you wanted to do an alternative version, like you would do, I would do full Kurokomo. Or at least like the high priority Kurokomo, which I would say like Ryoshu is a high priority Kurokomo. It may be like Rodion. So you could do like these 3 at the bare minimum. And then you can put like Rodion. And then Mersault. And that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have the double ring. So you can choose the pointless. If you want to care about bleed count, you have like double ring. Or if you have like 1 pointillism, and then maybe bring Faust along. So Faust is pretty good to bring when you have, when you don't have Yisang. The reason for this is because it's slower for her to get rid of Iron Maiden. You get technically more value out of Iron Maiden, meaning that you get that like bleed count and stuff like that on hit and stuff. So, and she gets the aggro. It's not the most important thing. Is there a difference in 6 or 5 rings for closing time? Great question. Let's do the math, shall we, chat? So it's for 5 IDs. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 IDs. Sorry. If for 5 IDs, including Honglu, if there's 5 total IDs, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 for him. So it's 5, 6. Then it's 7, 8 at the end of turn. So he gets 8. So it's, if you have 5 IDs, including Honglu, it's 8, 16. Then 24. So yeah, it takes about 3 turns. You don't want closing time too soon. Yeah, that's also the thing. You don't want, but well, I mean, it depends. If the fight's going to end really quickly, it doesn't matter. You can have it as fast as possible. But if you want the long term, you want to have at least a few charge frenzy. You can also double slot. Yeah, if you want to double slot, you can double slot. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Ow. You can just delay. Yeah, you can delay it. You can just hold on to it. But if you're gonna delay it at that point, I mean, you lose an action to a slot. So. I mean, yeah, okay, look, to be honest with you, if you wanted to do, like, if you wanted to be the optimal, like, hello, my name is John Optimal, right, and I want to use the ring IDs, you'd probably just do this, right? You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. You don't bring Otis, right, because Otis is a 2-star, and we hate 2-stars in this society, so you don't take them, and then you could take, like, double Kurokomo, if you want here. So you could do like double Kurokomo here. This works. If you don't want to take double Kurokomo. I honestly think you could, if you don't want to take double Kurokomo, you could do Pequod. No, I'm saying Ring Otis is great on the team for bleed potency. Ring Otis is not bad. I will say her I mean, she's a 2-star. You gotta remember. This is, look, see the cursed 2-star chat. She is good. She is great on bleed count. And her S3 is alright. But it's okay. That's about it. And her S2 is her best move, pretty much. And it's a lot of bleed count, which is very good. You make a 3 keyword or more team? Yes, you can actually make a 3 keyword team. Is Butler fast with bleed? Yeah, it's pretty much Butler fast with bleed. Ring still throws an extra coin like She Ishmael S2. Yes. Yes, it does. So it is exactly like She Ishmael S2 here, where it specifically says use 1 coin in additional time. So it uses it an extra time, which is very strong. Someone said, can you do, how do you do ring rupture, charge rupture? What are the other triple keywords? The most popular one at the moment is rupture, charge, bleed. Ring Rose is a whole right? No, she doesn't really roll particularly that high. I mean, she's okay. Her S1 is very small, it's 11. Her S2 is, what is this? This is a 14, but it re-rolls, but it has clash power, so it's whatever. And her S3, I think, is like a, what is this? 7, 14, 18. So it's 18, it's a little bit on the low side. But she does have power up as well, as you can see here. She does actually buff the ring IDs. As you can see here, she applies Pierce power up to a ring ID. This is not bad, but she is on the low side. You're going to be using her not because of her damage. You're using her because of her bleed count and her bleed and her potency, but mainly her bleed count. That's like pretty much it. Ah, the dreaded info button. Yeah, this is without any buffs, of course. Hencorp and Action Team Middle. Oh yeah, how did the 3 keyword team go again? I'm trying to remember. It was you had Corpo, it was Princess and Mersault. Then I think it was Gregor and Arcorp. And Heathcliff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who was the last one? I don't remember. Ah, it was either Dawn. It was either W, Otis, or Dawn. It was one of them. I guess you want to do like this. You could do Magical Girl or W. I guess for the sake of this, we'll just do Magical Girl because she's the strongest. I think this is it. There you go. Here's a triple keyword. Here's a triple keyword here. W Dawn better. I mean, Magical Girl is stronger, but are they gonna be good? I assume so. Yeah, and then you have ammo units. There's 1, 2, 3. And 4. There you go. And then just make this W Corp. There you go. That's a triple keyword. How do you run it? W is more consistent. Okay, well, look, you can use W Otis, you can use W or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's either or. How do you run this? Heathcliff, Faust, Rodion, Dawn, Mersault, Honglu, Gregor. In any order you want. But Magical Gun has a 3 face, that is true. Not applying any other status? I mean, I feel like that's the last thing you have to worry about it, but fair enough. Don't forget upcoming Poise Bleed. What Poise Bleed? Poise, Burn, Bleed? You can get Desperado. Does Ujai give the full Desperado buff? Yes. Yes, I believe. Actually, does it? I didn't even think about that. It might do, yeah. Why triple keyword? Double, I feel like is less strong. Triple keyword is specifically if you're doing extreme. Because it buffs all of your team really high. It's really cracked. That's pretty much it. Ah, goodness. Also, guys, look how close we are. I wish you could see how close my level is, but I'm so close. Am I, did I already do my... I already did. How are the kits? They look quite strong. We have finished talking about them for now, like viewing them on stream. But they are, like, Mersault is a much more basic and sustained version of Rhodion's. But Rhodion's is incredibly, I won't say complicated, but hers is very, like, a lot of moving parts, specifically her infliction and stuff like that, like the things that she does, the form that she gets, and she has a lot of hidden values as well, which we're gonna have to wait until on the day to check out, because she has a lot of, she's kind of like a nurse father, where she has a lot of values that we can't really see. We have to play a guessing game with. Natives are ending with a level 50 burn team. I'm gonna go to floor 10. Yeah, if you want to go to floor 10, so if you want to go to floor 10, that means you want to expend less than 450 Starlight, is pretty much what you want. So less than 450 Starlight, you can use as much as that. So that gives you a lot of buffs. That gives you starting Starlight. They're like the new Kurokoma duo. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think it's not ridiculous to say. I think they're pretty. Yeah, they're like a Kurokoma duo. You need 5 keywords as soon as needed to go, so I want to know 3 keywords or 4 keywords are possible. No, you need 5 no matter what. Unless you're talking about, like, some faction identities. Like, for example, the Blade lineage only need 3 IDs to activate. But, that's it. Well, they do the same thing? I mean, kind of. I mean, this is Limbus Company, bro. Everyone compares it. I mean, people are... Guys, everyone... This is Limbus Company. People are comparing it to Prince Mersault. You know, John Bloodfiend. Like, this is Limbus, bro. Everyone compares everything. Like, I mean... Yeah. You know, the guy that buffs specifically La Marchela and identities. Will I do it extreme? Maybe not today. No, not today. I'm saying Mersault is definitely he's more basic in terms of basic. Like, remember, being basic is not a bad thing. Being basic means you're more consistent, right? And the whole thing about Mersault is that he's probably going to be earlier consistent than Rodion, but then Rodion will, like, outshine once you get to a beast form. These guys are power group Shidon. Glad to see my blood fiends go. I mean, they're not going anywhere, guys. I mean, come on, let's be real. Look, if you're talking strictly as a bleed unit, I mean, don't get me wrong, Rodion is a very good bleed unit on the blood fiends. But again, she buffs the blood fiends. You know? She buffs the blood fiends. I'm not surprised. I mean, guys, look how many fucking sinking... Look how many sinking IDs fucking Yi Sang has, bro. I don't even know why Ring counts as a sinking ID, but he fucking does, bro. Look at John sinking over here, bro. Like... Bro has 4 sinking IDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and somehow Ring Pointless counts as a fucking sink because you can flick potency. Oh, sorry, he can flick 3 count. So I guess if you get really lucky, you can have you can be a sinking ID. Triple keyword Ring team. Who else has the same amount of... I think, Sinclair with Burn. Yeah, look at Sinclair's greed, bro. You know? Yeah, and his base ID is sinking. Like, bro is eating amazingly well here for Burn. Like, you got goaded here, goaded identity. Fucking even this is still a fucking goaded identity. And it has Burn. Look at this. 6 burn potency and 1 burn count? Oh my goodness gracious. And 7 burn if you have 5 bleed. Let's ignore that. But burn bleed. There's like 5 bleed IDs. Yeah, he definitely will after this. Yeah, he will. That's where all the burn IDs went. Yeah, he's gonna have 5 bleed IDs, and all of these bleed IDs are good, by the way. Like, people sleep on Rhino Mersault, bro. Rhino Mersault has insane bleed. People are like, man, I wish bleed count existed. Like, fucking hello, dude. Like, this is the litmus test, guys. For if someone says like, oh man, there's no bleed count, you'd be like, do you have Rhino? Like, what does Rhino do? Oh, I don't know. Rhino inflicts 4 bleed count on S2 and fucking 10,000 bleed count on S3, bro. This is John count. He has 5 bleed count. He's 2 bleed count positive. 2 bleed count positive on S3. Now, he doesn't do a lot of damage. That's the, you know, you didn't ask for that, but he does have bleed count, man. I'll tell you what. If he's got something, he's got bleed count. He's also quite fucking tanky, he must. We just pretend they don't exist. True, true. Kim Sod also has bleed on Claim Your Bones. See, and oh, that also another thing. Kurokoma Ryoshu is an insanely good bleed ID. Like, this is also, by the way, a really good bleed unit. 3 bleed count S2, so she's +1. 3 bleed count S3, so she's +1. 5 offense down the same turn. Now, she's a little slow. That's like the thing. And damage down. But, like, 3, that's 2 right there. That's not bad at all. Three different factions of rings. Yeah, Sinclair is stacking up thing. But like I'm saying, like, bleed count exists, man. I'm telling you, bleed players are like the most. They don't. It's just Blood Fiends and Kurokomos to them, and Ring now, I guess. Nothing else exists. But Quad, I mean, dude, look, okay, literally, like, I just showed this go off. Inflict bleed count equal to 1/3 of bleed potency on target. Max 10 bleed count. I'm sorry. On crit. Okay, you have to build the poise. But what's this? Poise for every 3 bleed on the main target, max 10. Now this ID doesn't. Now this ID does fucking damage. Okay, so this is still. You could still use fucking Pequod Heathcliff to this day, and you will get amazing fucking results. Bro is insane. So he's still good. There's a lot of bleed. Fuck, if you want bleed count, go for Grip Faust, dude. Nails is nothing to laugh at. No one is flaming it. No, I'm just saying, like, there's so many IDs that you can use to maintain the bleed count. Remember, you have 7 IDs in the field now. Shit, you could still use Ring Faust, chat. Ring Faust is 5 bleed count on turn end. Yeah, Dawn has less bleed identities. And even her Magia is greedy, bro. She just greeds for Blood Feast. She's so greedy. I mean, her Ascended Skill 3 is literally like 8-4, so it is kind of cracked. I mean, this is literally insane. Like, this makes it worth it, chat. Also, a reminder that her Ascended counter comes from... as a reminder, by the way, in case you're unfamiliar on how... Manager works. The skill 1 comes from Gregor. The skill 2 comes from Barber. The counter comes from Rodion. And the Ascended skill 3 comes from herself. Right? Like... By the way, again, look at this counter, bro. Ascended counter is 3 bleed count. And then they have Ego, yeah. I mean, Ego, like, the thing is, like, yeah, you have Ego. I mean, the minute you start talking about Ego, I mean, Wishing Can's 4 bleed count. Look at this. How many guys, how many of you who are bleed players use Wishing Can? Honest hands, chat. Honest hands. Wishing Can, Dawn. How many of you use bleed count? 4 bleed count for 2 Wrath, 2 Lust, 1 Pride? Bitch, nothing to feel. It's pretty much, it's bitch baby to fuel. It literally feels like it's nothing, pretty much. And it's free bleed count, 4 bleed count. I do, me. Well, congratulations. Because this is just free bleed count. Yeah. There's a lot of free. I mean, there's not a lot of bleed count. The power is nice. Oh yeah, wishing con is. Why does the rock bleed? Have you get hit by a rock? It hurts. Pretty sure lasso also does. Lasso do bleed count as well, doesn't it? And corrosion. Lasso has bleed count, corrosion. W lasso. It's a lasso upscale. I don't think fell bullet does bleed count. That's bleed potency. Wing beat. Or you get a sanguine desire. I mean, yeah. Then there's also sanguine desire. Even Hexnail, chat. Even Hexnail has three nails. Not bad. Then you have Jane fucking bleed count. Address the contempt of... Well, I was talking about bleed count. This is bleed potency. Did I? Scissors now exists? Ah. Excuse me. Scissors now exists, and she's got Needle, which is 2 bleed count on every damage. Which middle Otis upscale. The corrosion, I mean, yeah, if you did the corrosion, then. Waha! 5 bleed count. Wow! But it's quite a lot of resources for that. Damn, she does a lot of damage. Damn, I forget she does fucking multiplicative, bro. That's crazy. 10 highest resident multiply bleed. Damn. Kinda crazy. Yeah, once you start including ego, it's cheating. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna be doing an MD for today. Because I am gonna be prepping some stuff. I want to prep a run tomorrow, and I don't want to have to be in the middle of the run. I'm thinking tomorrow, chat, we finally do this miracle one, or we do. Actually, you know what? Tomorrow we can hunt. Okay, so I will let you guys know this as a spoiler. I'm gonna spoil you guys. On Wednesday, the day before patch, we're going to be doing a drinking stream. And we're going to be doing a drinking stream trying to get the drinking achievement. Where I think we're going to be doing every turn I take a drink. Do a couple of Lux runs. I'll do it tomorrow, don't worry. I think we're going to be doing every turn we take a drink. I think that's going to be fun. Do you guys think that? And we're going to do extreme, by the way. We're going to have to do extreme. So we're gonna do extreme. How many turns do you think that is, chat? Let's be honest. It's like 3 turns per node. Or 4. Okay, that's quite a lot, actually. And then there's like, if we do on average 3 or 4 nodes, that's like 30 drinks. That's like, yeah. Actually, that might be a bit too much. We might have to do it on every even number or something. Hell yeah. Can I handle it? I mean, I should be fine. Drink what? Water? No, not water. We might have to do every even turn, chat. Wait, I'm just saying when we're doing the drinking. Drinking stream is going to be on Wednesday. Per floor? Once per floor is nothing, dude. We can't do once per floor. Should I do strong? Oh, we should do... Wait! We should also do Strongest Fairy Gentleman. That'll be a perfect time to do Strongest Fairy Gentleman. But I don't want to do Strongest when I have to try and get ego gifts. That's just annoying. I'll do like I'll do a foul Strongest where I'm like, if I see a brutality, I'll pick it. But if I don't see a good thing, I won't take it. Every shops, that's like once per floor though. That's pretty That's pretty easy. What about once per node? When you have a hangover for the intervalo? I'll be fine. I'll go to the new ones. They seem pretty strong. What about once per node? What? Surely once per node's not that bad. That's like 4 or 5 sips a node. 4 or 5 drinks a node. That doesn't sound that bad. For 50 node, how many nodes are there? I mean, guys, we did worse, chat. We did once per tails, bro. Once per tails was like 160 total throughout the whole run. Remember? We did way worse. Like, once per tail is actually horrid. Well, once per 5% we did. And the 5%, it was like on average like 25% per floor. I think we'll do once per node. I think once per node is good. I'll drink plenty of water at the same time, so I do it once per 5% here. No, because that takes too long. I want to do extreme. Because we're going to do extreme, chat. So I have to go into extreme. And if I want to do that, how many is that? Like 4 or 5 on average. So that'd be what? 5, 4, like 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, around like 70. Around 70 drinks for Wednesday. That doesn't sound that bad. And then if we get invaded, good, I want her to invade me. And we also need a... Hold on, do we have a drinking team? The United look so cool. I know, right? They look so sick. Once per turn start. That's even worse. We'll have to form a... What is this team I have here? We'll have to form a drinking team. I don't know what team we'll use. Do it with Mola. Kuroko Gregor, Mola team. Yeah, alright, sounds good. Alright, we'll leave it at that, guys. Look, thank you guys for joining. If you're interested in seeing what we talked about today, I will time stamp the live stream after we finish. So you can go back and check the patch nodes and the ID discussions and whatnot. If you're interested in what my initial thoughts are on the ID, it's pretty much the same thing. It's on we have the video on the main channel, and that is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I will timestamp the stuff after the video, timestamp everything after the stream ends. So you guys have a good one. Take care, guys. Enjoy. Let me know if you're excited about the IDs. If you haven't checked out the video, go check it out already. And I'll see you all tomorrow where we do something else. I think we're going to do T-Corp tomorrow, chat. Like, we're going to do, like, T-Corp and maybe Dawn or something. Or we'll do, like, a Dawn Heathcliff duo. All right. Take care, guys. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.